Good evening. Today is Tuesday, July 14th, 2026 at 7 p.m. I now call this Fairfield Township Board of Trustees meeting to order. Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Birdie.
Present.
Trustee Harkemeyer.
Here.
Trustee Maccabee.
Here.
Please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. Our first item of business is items for board discussion. Ms. Lepensi?
So in the last meeting, we had talked about doing a sidewalk repair, maintenance, and replacement policy. So there is a policy that has been, we just put it in your packet. I know you guys haven't had a chance to look at it, but basically it just is a policy statement. It gives us the purpose, authority, applicability. It gives definitions, how we plan to inspect it and repair it, the repair criteria, and then notices and compliance, an administrative review process. And then basically it just spells out that, you know, the townships are responsible for certain things, but the homeowners are responsible for anything that touches the right of way. I think we have certain ones that we take care of, but most of all, it would be on the property owner to take care of the sidewalks. So this is just basically spelling out their responsibilities. How we plan to administer it is when we go to do a paving project, we will, as we are looking at curb and gutter, we plan on looking at the sidewalks as well. So that's a comprehensive look throughout each individual neighborhood. And then that way we're keeping up with the sidewalks at the same time we're doing curb and gutter. So we can put it on. If you guys have any questions, you can look at it, get back to us, tell us what you think about it, and then we can put it on the agenda for next time for a first read.
Any questions from the board?
What would be the ways the property owner could pay for that?
They could pay out of pocket. So say we come to your house and we say you have to replace 3 squares. So you would have a chance at that time, you could hire your own contractor to replace the 3 squares that need to be replaced. And then you could pay them individually. Then we would give them so much time to replace it. And if they didn't, we could say, all right, we're going to be in the neighborhood on X number of days. We're going to come in and we're going to replace all these squares. Then we're going to bill you for those repairs. You can either pay the bill or we could assess you for the repairs. And then we could give people a period of time to pay them back.
And if we went to the assessment part of it, how would that work?
It goes on your property taxes. So we would just have to approve it here. It gets certified, it gets sent to the auditor's office. They would collect it, the next collection. But we could specify, say it's like a $5,000 bill. I'm not saying it's going to be that much, but just say it is. You guys could make the decision to put it over a certain period of time, whether it be a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. You have that ability to do that.
Yeah, I think I'd like to read through this before I have significant questions, but one question I have off the top of my head would be, we would only be requiring them to, or we're only inspecting the sidewalks where we're doing the curb and gutter, or all the sidewalks? And as we're doing curb and gutter, we would add that repair onto it.
I would focus mainly on the ones that we're doing paving for right now. But then obviously we get complaints, you know, every now and again. Then obviously we would respond to that.
So people that live in the communities that we paved this year are off the hook for maybe another 15 years before we come back through.
You guys could make the decision. We could go back and look the last 5 years if you wanted us to. It's up to you.
I think it's something maybe that there should be a standard set that we look every so many years, or the sidewalks are on a cycle, sort of like what our streets are on. And maybe the areas or the subdivisions near where we're paving could also be subject to the repair.
Okay.
Because we're not always going to get back to those areas on a recurring basis where damaged sidewalks may not be there this year, but 2 years they may be damaged, but we've missed that window
Right.
to help them offset the cost.
Okay.
I think we should maybe set up some sort of policy or look at subdivisions around where we're paving or something. I'll leave that up to you to come up with something.
Okay.
And we could look back for 5 years, like you were saying, something like that. Or maybe we could look at the age of the subdivision and use that as a starting point.
Okay. Because I know I talked to the Butler County Engineer's Office, and they said that there's a way I can go through and look up the age of all the subdivisions and like when they came online to see, like exactly how long has that sidewalk been there? Or how long is that street or storm sewer or whatever it is. So I'll figure it out.
If that doesn't work, I probably could tell you about the subdivisions.
I could tell you the ones that were built in the 90s, but after that, I'd have trouble.
I guess, if we have questions, we should relay it back to the administrator who can then put something together, and at our next trustee meeting, we could have our first read on the, sort of the,
Or at least a discussion of it.
or at least a discussion of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys just want me to put it back on for discussion? That way you have a chance to read it, and then
Yes,
we could talk about it, and then,
right.
okay.
Sounds good. We've already paved this year, so we wouldn't affect us this year.
True.
Okay, next item for board discussion.
Financing options for the fire station. So we've talked about the fire station multiple times, Station 211, which is right next door. So I had Bradley Payne update give us an example debt financing analysis. So this is at various terms. So the one with the blue bar for $3 million is a 4.0% interest rate. You can see it's for 5 years. So you can see the interest that we would pay totals $348,360. If we borrow $3 million for 7 years, that interest rate goes up to 4.125. And you can see the interest that we would pay goes up to $496,671. If we borrow that same $3 million for a 10-year period, the interest rate goes up to 4.25, and then our interest paid would go up to $731,489. So those are just some examples of what it would look like, to give you just a broad idea. I did ask Shelley if she could look up or get with some banks and see if she could get us a price too. But what Bradley Payne does is they have a term sheet that they use. I can get Andy to send it to me, and what they do is they send it out to about 30 different banks, and then they get people to bid on the actual money that you borrow. So it doesn't matter to me how we do it, but.
Can you talk a little bit about what funds we'll use to pay these back?
So, yeah, I have it in the budget that we would use the Princeton Road TIF to pay it back. Right now, I have it budgeted for a 5-year period to pay it back. So, but if you would like to change it, we can certainly change the budget.
Yeah, I would like to see what Ms. Schultz could come up with as well.
Okay.
That's assuming that tonight's vote, we pass a resolution to repair the fire station. But if we do, I would like Ms. Schultz to, 4% looks pretty good.
Looks good until you see the total, $348,000. So in the tax budget, you allowed $684,000. You budgeted that to make the payments,
Yeah, something like that.
something like that.
Let's see. 600. Princeton.
485,000 for 2027, then 900,000.
Oh, I
for the
was trying
next
to do it
4
for the
years.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's budgeted, plus 50,000 in interest each year. Actually, you even started in 2026 by putting half a payment. So it's budgeted to be 4.3 million total. So we have it budgeted high.
I wasn't sure what it would be, so I overestimated to be safe.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Pensy?
And the reason we would finance it versus just paying for it out of the TIF is we could spend that money twice.
No, it's to protect the cash in case we need it for emergencies, like we have to replace something and we didn't anticipate having to replace it. Or if we had to use it for salaries or what have you.
Or economic development, or something like it's supposed to be used for.
Yeah, well, I have that budgeted too. I have the projects that we talked about budgeted, so.
Good. So we could borrow this money and then we could pay it back out of the new fire levy. I mean, it is the fire department, right?
You could, if that's what you choose to do.
Okay, any further comments or questions? Okay, not on the agenda, there is discussion about our renovation to our pickleball and tennis courts. Ms. LaPency?
So we are rapidly approaching the finishing up of the pickleball courts, so they wanted to know, or I wanted to know when you guys wanted to set up like a day that we could do the ribbon cutting for it, the grand opening.
When do we anticipate it being complete?
Was it the end of July?
End of July,
Yeah.
beginning of August.
Okay. Do you want to do something before our next meeting, August 14th?
Do something around the next meeting, perhaps.
As long as it's cooler than it is now.
Oh, very true.
Can you arrange that?
Let's see. Be August 11th. It's our next meeting.
August 11th?
Sorry about that.
And does that work for,
Around that
Each of
meeting
you?
would be great for me.
Trustee McAfee, did that work for you? We set something up for 6:30 that evening? Be pretty quick, right?
As long as you can guarantee traffic's not like it was today.
Well, traffic from my house to here was not that terrible.
I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, we'll do 6:30 and
Okay. 6:30 on 8/11. So if you could also notify the Community Foundation and the donors so they can clear their calendar for that.
And you might want to confirm it's going to be finished and usable at that point before we do it. Will you
Okay.
notify anybody or?
Okay. Yeah, I think the email, Chuck, the email that we got today was, he said a couple weeks.
2 weeks, and then just 48 hours for it to cure.
I guess we need to make sure that it stays locked until after it's cured. Right. Okay, great. Next, we move on to communication. This is the portion of the meeting where you, the residents of Fairfield Township, are invited to share your thoughts with the board. Please know that this time has been set aside from the board to listen to you. Your comments are valued and will be taken into careful consideration. The board will not engage in dialogue at this time, and presentations are limited to 3 minutes each. The first person to sign up was Janet Stolten? Stoffel? Sorry, yeah. Stoffel. I do apologize. Please, if you'd like to come up to the, and then state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Sure. My name is Janet Stoffel. I live at 5478 Rentschler Estates Drive in the township. I am here on behalf of the Homeowners Board of Rensselaer Estates. I'm the Vice President of the HOA Board. We had a meeting last week, and this has been on our agenda several times. I'm not sure if you're familiar with our subdivision. It is right across from Butler Tech, and there is a pond right when you enter. It is a parks entrance as well as a neighborhood entrance, and there is a pond in the very front. The Rensselaer Estates Homeowners Board is responsible for all the landscaping coming in to the subdivision, which starts at the street and goes all the way to the end of our houses on the main road. We're responsible for the grass cutting, we're responsible for the fertilizing, and we're responsible for all the beds and flowers within it. And then there is a pond that sits down the hill that the Parks Department supposedly is taking care of. Our problem is it is a catch and release pond, which if you ask me should not be allowed, but that's neither here nor there. So there are people coming into the neighborhood and fishing there. That's fine. I have lived there almost 13 years. It's never been that big of an issue, but for some reason this pond has exploded with people coming to it in the past, let's call it 6 months, to the point where they are parking alongside right when you come into the subdivision and parking in the grass and in our beds, which is causing us to pay more money to clean them up and the rutted grass. There is a no outlet sign as you come in. I'm bad with feet. So many feet in, there is a red no out or yellow no outlet sign that would confirm to people that the park entrance is to the left once you come in, and then our house is down there. It's no outlet. We would like a no parking sign is all we're asking for by the no outlet sign to keep people from parking there, blocking the way of people, and then causing our landscaping to be horrible when you come in at certain times. And if you could do it on both sides, that would be great, but I will even take one by the no outlet sign. And we do call Fairfield Township Police non-emergency, and they're very grateful and ask them to move. There is parking for the pond. All they have to do is turn to the left, and there's a giant parking lot. So we would just appreciate a no parking sign along the street.
Yeah, so when they're parked on the side of the street, are there open spots in the big lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, so that is why I'm here. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. We'll definitely look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. And help these gentlemen with the fire station. Thank you.
Okay, the next person to sign up was Jason Purvance. Did I pronounce it correctly that time? No, sorry. What was?
Proviance, Jason Proviance.
Okay, I apologize, Jason.
Yeah, no worries. My name's Jason Proviance. I live at 3606 Milliken Road. I recently made a public record request for information regarding the flock camera system and their use here in the township. First, I want to thank the police department and the township for their quick response, providing the contracts, renewal resolutions, invoices, policy. A very quick turnaround, so I appreciate that. The department policy seems to be on par with those around the country and state that the system is for legitimate law enforcement purposes only. However, in reality, there are many concerns with the system. We've seen egregious abuses in the system across the country. And again, I'm not speaking directly to your police department. This is a general statement across the country. One recent example includes an officer hot-listing a woman's license plate because he had a romantic interest in her. For several weeks, he stalked her, using the system to pull her over to stage what appeared to be a random encounter in hopes of getting a date. There have been countless reports nationwide of unauthorized searches, improper access, and serious questions about the overall security of these systems. Currently, Flock maintains a network of over 100,000 cameras nationwide that automatically log every car passing by, creating a massive searchable database of our movements without individualized suspicion or any warrants. This system builds detailed profiles of our daily routines. Certain camera models have been enabled to track the movement of people in parking lots, on trails, leaving their homes, being able to cross-reference their license plates with other data to reveal where someone might shop, work, or attend events. Even worse, research has publicly demonstrated that these demonstrated severe security flaws. Many cameras were left streaming live and archive footage up to 30 days directly open to the internet with no passwords or no encryption. Simple physical access to these cameras let attackers repurpose these devices, delete evidence, or spy. This turns the system into what has been described as a Netflix for stalkers, accessible not only to law enforcement, but to hackers, abusive partners, foreign actors, or anyone with basic technical know-how. Law enforcement credentials have even appeared on the dark web for sale. Our data currently is shared nearly with 2,300 other organizations nationwide, with nearly 1,900 of those being out-of-state agencies and multiple federal agencies. This is not targeted surveillance. It is a mass metadata collection on the public at large, stored and controlled by a private third-party company. This conflicts with the protections of the Fourth Amendment. Looking ahead, Flock is actively expanding new features with richer metadata collection, AI enhancements, and even drone integration. This trajectory points to ever more pervasive surveillance infrastructure rather than a limited public safety tool. We should not wait until these capabilities are fully deployed here before acting. Nearby cities like Dayton have suspended their programs after audits revealed egregious unauthorized data sharing for immigration enforcement. Cleveland City Council recently voted against renewing its contracts, and in nearly half the states around the country and more than 50 municipalities have terminated or declined to renew the contracts with this company due to privacy concerns. I encourage the township to end its relationship with this company and any similar private third-party companies that collect and store public data in this manner. Other communities, cities, and police departments have recognized it's not the path to go down, and I encourage our community to lead by example here in Butler County and in the contract with Flock as soon as possible. I know I've covered many different topics, so at any point if you guys would like to talk more one-on-one or as a group, please feel free to get hold of me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item, the next person to sign up is Jeff Moore.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Jeff Moore. My residence is 7455 Vintage Road, Fairfield Township. And if Catherine and Kim recognize me, I'm also a district vice president for the Ohio Association of Professional Firefighters. So with that, I stand before you to speak about the fire department and the board staffing decision made last meeting. I was one of the residents that supported the levy. I wanted the department to maintain its staffing, and I wanted to prevent any station closures. And when I say closures, I mean that speaks to the what I would call that roll the dice effort with the first emergency first, where you've only got a handful of guys responding on one of first out pieces of apparatus. The priority, I thought, came from the levy vote, which was pretty clear. And I hope the board and the township understand that this is a pivotal point in the fire department's growth, in this township's growth. You've got the ability to attract, you got the ability to retain, and you might even have to look past what I would call the part-time model. I understand last meeting that was delayed hiring, and it's kind of frustrating because when you delay hiring, I would expect overtime to increase, especially if you're supposed to maintain staffing. Yet there was a kind of reaction from the township to cut overtime, and you guys entertained a vote to do so. And in light of the, I would call it the aftermath and the moratorium afterwards, I'm encouraged to hear now that there's been some conversation, that there's been some creative solutions that are being discussed, and that's I would call it the positive forward movement that I think we'd all expect this township to take. So I'm excited to see the collaboration, and I hope that the township and this fire department winds up finding that right balance that's not only fiscally responsible, but then lives up to the levy vote that was taken a couple months ago, and makes safety definitely a priority instead of a number on the chopping block. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Okay, we move on to the consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are considered by the Board of Trustees to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any trustee may remove an item from the consent agenda by request. No second is required for the removal of an item. Items removed for separate discussion will be considered after the motion to approve the consent agenda. I would like to remove item A and item B, which deals with the minutes. We did not receive the minutes to review them, so I think we should pull those off and we can discuss them at the next meeting. So at this time, I move to approve the consent agenda items C, and then motions A through C, and resolutions A through E.
And of note, item B, C, D, and E is hiring for the fire department. Correct? Part-time people?
Yes, 4 of them.
Yeah, 4 part-time firefighters.
Firefighter EMTs.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussions or questions? Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Birding?
Yes?
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes.
Trustee McAbey?
Yes?
And that motion is approved. We'll move on to fiscal officer report. Ms. Schultz?
Yes, thank you. Our current checking account balance is $4 million. In our medical account, we have $81,000 waiting for claims to be paid out. Year-to-date JED revenue is $400,000 for Hamilton and $124,000 for Fairfield. Our investment account balance is $13 million. We earned $31,000 in interest. Our EMS billings to date are $463,000. Revenue to date is $12 million, but remember, 4 of that is a transfer. Our expenditures to date is $12 million, but again, 4 of that is a transfer. Payments made in June, $979,000, and all of our balances together, we're just a tad over $17 million. I don't think I have anything else.
Any questions for Ms. Schultz? Okay, thank you, Ms. Schultz. Move on to administrator's report. Ms. Lipinski?
Under old business, we have resolution number 26-07, which is a resolution to approve the renovation of Fire Station 211 by HGC Construction at a cost not to exceed $2,727,890, which will be paid from multiple funds.
I move to approve resolution 26-07. Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion, questions?
Shouldn't, I'm sorry. Shouldn't we decide how we're going to pay for it before we authorize it?
And that was, if I can piggyback on that, what I was hoping we could get to at the last meeting, we talked a little bit about this as a program that we wanted to do, as well as Princeton Road and some other things. And I think we kind of talked about it, but what I would like to see is kind of a map of what that looks like and what our income would look like, and then how we're gonna spend it to do the various projects that we've talked about. So I'm kind of, along with Trustee McAbey, I wanted to like really nail that down with our plans so that we know. If you wanna talk a little bit about that.
I was going to say, I have it already mapped out.
Okay.
So if you look at page 29, page 15. Princeton Road TIF.
Of the budget.
Yeah. So on these budget sheets that you have in front of you. So the blue is 2027. Now, I over budgeted, so, but still, we have plenty of money. We still have leftover money for this year. We had already budgeted for 2026 to pay for this project in full. So if we don't use the money this year, that money will stay in there and it won't be appropriated for anything else. So we'll have that money as well for carryover. But in 2027, I had budgeted money for sidewalks for 2027 and 2028, and then also Princeton Road paving in 2028, which is our contribution for the paving from the bypass to 800 feet past Menards, the Menards Boulevard. So then I also have money budgeted in there to replace fire equipment, and then I have $2.5 million budgeted in 2030 for the Princeton Road improvements, which would be the widening to 3 lanes and the sidewalk from the 800 feet past Menards down to Leeds Lane, which is down near Hampshire. So, and you can see, we take a bigger hit in 2030 just because of the 2.5 million. But if you look over to the side, we still have plenty of carryover in the Princeton Road TIF, which is kind of off to the right-hand side on the bottom of the page. So we do have the money to do all the projects we talked about.
I think the other thing that we all need to keep in mind too is we have this money, but a lot of these funds are restricted. So I can't just take this money that I have and use it to pay salaries.
Right. Right.
So do we need to add something to the resolution, or do you want to table this and talk about? See, I mean, why would they go out and get quotes on how to pay for it if we're not going to pass it? So I guess it's kind of a cart before the horse or horse before the cart. Or do you want to, tonight, have discussions and settle on how do you like to pay for it, whether you borrow the money or pay for it, and then pass the resolution? I mean, just the longer we wait to pass this resolution to work on the firehouse, it's just making the situation worse next door. So if we don't do it tonight, and we're looking at discussing it a month from now in August the 11th is our next meeting, and then approving it then, or do you want to have a special meeting between now and then to talk about, here's our different ways we could pay for it, pick have a resolution to pick which way we're going to pay it, and then have a resolution to authorize doing it, or we authorize making the repairs, and then authorize whether we're borrowing it or paying for it with TIF money. How do you want to go about it? Am I thinking about this wrong? Don't
No.
we have to decide whether we're going to do it, and then we?
Yes, and we have all the information, and
So-
we've had it, so I think you need to make a decision how to pay for it, and then pass a resolution to do it, or fail the resolution. Because we have the budget, we have an example of 3 financing options, so all the information is in front of us.
And plus, just so you know, waiting 6 months, it costs us an additional $132,000. So that's why I keep putting it before you, so that every month we wait, it costs more money.
So could we authorize to repair the station and then come back with, and we have what funds it's coming out of, right? But those could be the funds where we're paying back a loan from,
Right.
correct?
Yep.
So we could authorize to repair it and then give everybody all the information that they would like to have, and then have either a special meeting at the next meeting to determine how we're paying for it. Is that
'Cause we can-
possible?
I
we
would
can-
think that would work, but that way, if you pass it saying we're doing it, then you could go ahead and get a contract going.
Right.
And
And then
then
we can also pay ourselves back, too.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
way you've written is you're going to approve it with a cost not to exceed. And then with respect to the payment, you can get financing options after you approve the budget and the approval, the rate and the repairs.
Okay.
Just so you know, too, with this, we would have to find temporary housing for all of the firefighters that are, currently living in that station 24/7. And then we will need to replace the locution system in the building as well. So just keep in mind, that's why I want to borrow $3 million to account for some of those additional costs that we'll have.
We've already started having conversations on options for the firefighters while it's being, whether that means we're moving into here, creating some sort of environment for them in this building, and having a small space for staff to work out of. We could potentially move our meetings to different places, probably use school buildings to have our meetings. While the fire department is in here, living and working out of this building. We have a couple bays as part of this building. So those discussions have been taking place. We're trying to figure things out. So it's of my opinion that we should approve to make the repairs. And then if you guys want a different meeting to discuss how to pay for it, I'm okay with that as well. I just think we need to get this project moving forward because it's not getting any better. And I think that goes back to what Mr. Moore had said. We have to make this a welcoming environment for our firefighters, and if they have to work in a station next door that's sort of falling apart, and we keep kicking the can down the road, are we going to attract talent to come work here?
If you adopt your proposal, Trustee Birding, the one caveat I would say is in your resolution, you do designate the funds by which you're intending to pay for the fire station. So if that changes at a special meeting down the road and you decide to do financing or whatever it might be, you would just need to pass an amended resolution redesignating the payment options.
But this would at least get the project started.
Yes.
Anybody else have any further comments or questions or?
Well, I've stated for a long time now, I'm not in favor of taking debt, so I'm not. I would rather pay for the repair out of the TIF account and out of the fire budget. I would really rather have this discussion and decision made after the November election.
I appreciate those concerns, but the November levy isn't a guarantee one way or the other. So if things don't go the direction that the police would like it to go in November, then we kick it further down the road, or I'm just trying to gauge the interest of the board on if we move forward with this or not. I understand right now that as it's written, we would be paying it without borrowing the money. And then if we have a special meeting and the trustees come up with a resolution to borrow the money and then that's voted down, we still have a passed resolution to pay for it out of those funds that's been budgeted for.
And we budgeted for the additional costs of those items you were talking about, couple $100,000.
Okay, so if you look at page 2 of my memo to you guys, the staff report or whatever. So if you look under old business 2607, I lay out exactly where all the funds were coming from. So the way I budgeted, and you all approved it, is out of the Story Point TIF would be $231,037. Out of the Princeton Road TIF, we originally had money appropriated in the Princeton Road TIF, but if you remember back a few meetings ago, we went ahead and paid off the remainder of our debt for Princeton Road. So that took some of the chunk of the money that we were going to use for the fire station to pay off the bond. So we would need to increase the appropriations in the amount of $780,925 to get us up to where we need to be to pay for this. In the Seward Road TIF, we're going to use $185,000, and the Bridgewater TIF, $1,400. And then the newest, because of all the price increases, we would need to take money out of the fire fund. So it would be in the amount of $133,280. But all of the funds have the money to cover those amounts.
And everything's included in there except the additional cost of relocation and.
Yeah, that's the
Those
two
two
things
items.
that we didn't budget for. So the relocation and the locution. So the locution, I think, Jason, you got
yeah.
costs on that, right?
So I've done preliminary numbers. I've been back and forth, actually with HGC, because we were advised to potentially go through the contractor for the temporary housing, and they gave us several options. They started with a 12 by 60 modular area, and it came in about $21,000. They couldn't accommodate for showers, which is required.
So they bumped it up to a 24 by 60, which came in at about $47,000, and they're trying to accommodate for the showers. The only other option besides that would be to go through like a porta clean company, and they're outrageous, so it's not really an option for us. So that second option, being just under 50,000, would probably be our best bet.
Will that get us through the whole 8 to 9 months?
That was what it was quoted for,
Okay.
yes, for the duration of the project. And then the locution system, while we have a quote coming in from locution for our station specifically, they don't have that back to us yet, but I contacted a neighboring department earlier today who just put it in 3 of their firehouses, and it came in just south of $45,000 per station. So that's what we'd be looking at just for one station, though.
So just for one, okay.
And I'm sorry, I don't know that term. What's that for?
So locution is an alerting system that we use, and the entire county's adopted it. What it does for us is it's an automated system that it generates the run for us, it notifies us, and it gives us better response time so we can get to our citizens faster.
Do we have that now?
We have it at Station 212, and we have a modified version of it that we kind of tried to retrofit to this station, but it doesn't work as effectively as the one at Station 212.
Was that included in the original bid to when the renovation was going to take place? Is that included in there?
That was not included in the original bid. It's a separate company. It's not with the contractor. It's not with HGC. It actually goes through Mobilecom and the company locution itself.
If you've ever been over there during when the tones drop, there's multiple audibles going on at the same time. So this would clean it all up.
Which it sounds like we needed that anyway.
Yes.
We
yes.
do. The reason why it wasn't done before is because retrofitting a station while it's not under construction is incredibly expensive to do. So we may do with what it is now, with the thoughts of potential renovations coming in the future and putting it in there, but not through HGC.
Not through HGC. So what's it going to cost us to put it in the station once it's renovated?
So if they do it during the renovation, you're looking at around $45,000.
Okay. And we can use that in the temporary housing.
The temporary housing, we would have to have some sort of modification system as well, similar to what we're using now, because we wouldn't put that in just a temporary station because that would kind of be a waste. But we would be able to make our runs and we'd be able to get out the door.
So the system we're talking about is going to go in the renovated station.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Harkemeyer, any questions, comments?
I think that we've talked about this quite a while, and we all know that there's some issues over there in the fire department, and I think we need to move forward. I'd like to maybe have some more discussions about how we're going to pay for it.
Okay.
Okay, there's been a first and a second. Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Birding?
Yes?
Trustee Harkemeyer?
Yes?
Trustee McAbey?
Yes?
And that resolution is adopted. Thank you very much for the discussion. Move on to resolutions. Ms. Lipinski.
Resolution number 26-62 is a resolution to charge a fee for non-emergency ambulance transfers. So we talked about this at our last meeting. Basically, it's a resolution to set up a fee schedule for non-emergency transports from a number of either nursing homes, group homes, what have you, if it's not an emergency. So Jason, I know you had asked Shannon at the last meeting for some hard data, and Jason went through all the reports, and he can give us an update on what he found.
Yeah, so I did a scan of the last 6 months. I started with June, and then Ms. Lipinski asked me to do basically the entire year to date. To date, we have 25 runs that would have qualified as non-emergency runs. We weren't able to pull the report from our reporting software, so we went through manually and pulled them individually, which wasn't a big job. So for January, we had 10. February, we had 5. March was 3. April was 2. May was 4. And June was only 1, totaling 25. So the way the resolution's written, each entity would get 3 freebies, if you want to call them that. So essentially, 15 of those runs could have potentially been non-billable. So it would have given us an option to bill 10 non-emergency transport runs, which would have totaled $7,500 plus mileage, which we charge $15 a mile, and that's just what we have set up through our existing Med account. Now, We wouldn't go through Medi-Cal to do this. We can do it on our own, and it's nothing that they would take a portion of or anything like that. It would go directly back to us. So essentially, the job is not that difficult. If you want to move forward with it, then it wouldn't be a big concern of ours. I would just ask that I had a little bit of time to discuss this with the nursing homes, the 5 different nursing homes and their administration, just so they understand what's going on. Also with that, with the infrequency of the non-emergency transports, if we give them the 3 per calendar year, the way that it's written, you probably wouldn't see anything for the rest of this year. You'd probably looking at like mid-second quarter next year before we actually start collecting any dollar amount for that. So just things to keep in mind.
But that probably gives them some time to get used to the new system and to kind of roll it in so that it won't be a big shock.
Absolutely.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what the process would look like as far as identifying those runs when they do happen and how that would work?
Yeah, so like I said before, I wasn't able to actually generate a report with our reporting software. I discussed it with a couple of our neighboring departments, and they have software that can do that. We can't do that. I also discussed it with a neighboring department who has the same reporting software, and they essentially have somebody that scans all of their runs anyways. And then that person gives them to, who's actually the fire chief, who whittles it down to decide what's actually billable for those non-emergency transport runs. To give you a ballpark, it took me about 20 to 30 minutes per month to do it manually. It was not excruciating.
Okay, so perhaps once a month, this is an ad of about 30 minutes to an hour just to try and figure out what that would look like?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then bill it, then collect it.
Right. So the
And if you ran that through Medi-Cal, could you run it through them? And if so, what's their take, 10%?
I don't know their actual percentage that they take, but I do know that we have something in place already to bill on our own because we used to do it with the task unit especially when it went out of county. And our administrative assistant actually has that entire spreadsheet set up where we were billing people like that anyways. We would just have to convert it over to billable for non-emergency transports.
And how successful is that billing part of it? I mean, is everybody paying their bill?
For the task unit?
Yeah, or any, I mean, yes, I guess that's all we have to
So
go
the way
on.
that we do it with the task unit, we bill the fire department that calls it.
Oh, I see.
When it's in the county and they're in the agreement, then
Oh, I see, so you're going to get paid.
they're going to get paid. As far as the actual entities, the nursing home facilities and the other ones that we're talking about, I can't answer that question right now, but it's been portrayed to me through my representative at Medi-Cal that they pay their bill.
I'd be interested to see how much it costs to run it through Medi-Cal.
Run it through Medi-Cal?
Yeah,
Okay.
just to see, that'd be one less thing that you would have to do,
Yeah,
even though it's only 30, 40, 50 minutes.
I will contact him and get you an answer.
Because if we get in the collection business, that's going to take more time.
I thought it was 6.5% is what we pay, but.
You may be right, but I don't want to give false information, so I just
Okay.
don't know the answer.
So if it's that makes me think we ought to let them build it and chase the money.
I can also talk to the neighboring departments who do this and ask them why they choose not to send it through their billing.
Do some benchmarking and maybe make a proposal about what you think the best business process for that would be.
Okay.
So does that change anyone's mind whether we should table this resolution, or do you want to move on with acting on it? Okay, so I move to adopt Resolution 26-62. Is there a second?
Second?
Any further discussion?
And why did we pick 3 freebies? What was that about?
We can change it to 1 if you would like. We're just
None.
trying to be, okay.
None?
We can change it to 0.
So the reason why I believe that was adopted was because we modeled it after whatever.
Oh, we modeled it after Liberty's.
We
Yeah.
modeled it after Liberty.
Okay. And I guess they give 3 free. So there's your answer.
Not a good answer.
Okay.
Well, I think it will discourage the practice.
So that's the goal. Obviously, if you can create revenue, that's great. But the end goal is to not tie up our resources when our citizens need them
Right.
for something that is not entirely necessary.
And if we see that certain nursing homes are abusing it, we could always come back and amend the policy to make it zero.
Yeah.
Great.
Or we can make it zero in the beginning and really teach them to not use it. Especially if the chief, if assistant chief, acting chief goes out there and explains to them how it's going to work.
I'm comfortable with him going out and explain how it works, and then also don't want to discourage our business partners, so to speak. So I think if we explain how it works and we're keeping an eye on it, and
Yeah, I mean, there's always the aspect of continuing good relationships with the people in our community, right? So to have a hard and fast, absolutely nothing tomorrow could create some animosity. And I also don't want them to not call us when they need us because they're concerned with that.
Absolutely.
because then the patient suffers.
Exactly.
And how are we going to determine that?
Determine what?
Whether it's a real call or not a real call?
Well, there's certain
I mean,
criteria.
if they're going to be discouraged because they're calling us to take somebody for an X-ray versus a real emergency. Exactly.
That's a question for the fire
Yeah,
department, not for me.
Jeffers, do you want to
So-
weigh in on
So
that?
there's the criteria that you see in the resolution, and if I have the ability to meet with the administration of each facility, I could portray that to them.
Thank you. Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Birding?
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes.
Trustee McAbey?
Yes?
That resolution is adopted. Can we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution number 26-71 is a resolution adopting the fiscal year 2027 tax budget attached here too and made part of this resolution by reference. So at the last meeting, I went through all of the tax budget, the proposed tax budget for 2027. So basically, when I went through the presentation, we ended up with a projected revenue of $20,124,928, with projected expenses totaling $19,900,543. Does anybody have any questions? Or any changes they want to see before we submit it? It's due tomorrow. Or we have to adopt it by tomorrow, and then it's due by the 20th.
I move to adopt 26-71.
Second?
Any questions?
I would
Comments?
just strongly encourage everyone to do what they can to stay under budget on all of those numbers,
Any
as
further
much as we
discussion?
can.
Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Birding?
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes?
Trustee McAbey?
Yes?
And that resolution is adopted. Can we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 26-72 is a resolution determining to proceed to levy an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation within the township. So this is the police levy. So this is the second step in the process. So we passed the first resolution at the June meeting. We sent the information to the county auditor's office. She came back with a certification of funds. And then now is the second step where we pass the second resolution to proceed. And once we pass that resolution, I will take all three of those documents and take them to the Board of Elections to place the question on the ballot.
Okay. I move to adopt resolution 26-72. Is there a second?
Second?
Any further discussion, question?
So the total valuation of the township is that 822 million?
$822,589,460.
And that's the current value?
Yes.
Yes.
What about the readjustment that's happening?
I don't think we have those values yet, so they have to do it on the current value they have.
So we're gonna put on 2.9 mils,
2.99.
2.99. And If the value goes up, then the millage comes down?
I think it stays, it doesn't matter what the value is, everything pretty much stays the same. You're still going to collect 2.99 mils.
Yeah.
It's just your value might go up and my value might go down. Stays flat.
If the township's value goes up across the board,
It used to only affect inside millage, but now I think they have that, was it that stopgap in place where it only goes up so
So
much
much,
for
yes.
inflation? And then we're supposed to get, sorry, talking with my hands, we only get so much in homestead reimbursement from the state. And I think that's where they've chopped or, it reduced the value.
so what you're saying is we're going to receive the 2.459 million
Yes.
regardless of what the township's value is.
Yes. The only where it would change is inside millage. So inside millage is only road and bridge, and it's the general fund.
Or new construction.
Yeah, or, new construction, which is only not
Minor.
much.
That's a 1 year.
Smidge, yeah.
Any further questions, comments? Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Birding?
Yes,
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes.
Trustee McAbey?
Yes?
and that resolution is adopted. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution number 26-73 is an authorizing the administrator to execute a salt contract with the Butler County Engineers Office for the 2026 and 2027 snow and ice control season.
Motion to adopt?
Second?
Any further questions or comments? Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee McAbey?
Yes?
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes.
Trustee Birding?
Yes, and that resolution is adopted. Committee reports, TID, Trustee McAbey.
We did not meet this month.
Okay, EMA, OKI, Clout, Trustee Harkemaier.
Let's see, EMA, nothing to report there. OKI did not meet this month, but I do have some things from Clout. So a couple of things of note is there's a bill right now that is going to impact the Ohio Open Checkbook that we do. And it looks like if it goes through, they're going to do a local government checkbook. So that would impact the fiscal office and all of those things. So be on the lookout for that. That might be voted through. Right now, we do have Ohio Open Checkbook. We've had that on, I want to say, Shelley, do you remember?
It's been as long as I've been here, but
It's
it's
been
not
before you were
required, but
here.
we always do it.
Yes, it's not required, but we've been on that since I think we were one of the very first communities to adopt that.
The new one's going to be required, though, I think,
I
right?
believe so.
Yeah.
The new one's required, and it is going to be just for a local government checkbook. There has been quite a lot of action up in Columbus about the data centers. There was quite a bit of testimony on that. Quite a lot of discussion about that up there in Columbus. They had testimony with local people, the corporations, all of that. It was a multi-day type event, and they are looking for that up in Columbus. They are looking at doing some more property tax reform. That would be HB 420. And they're going to be looking at that a little bit more this year. So there might be some further movement on that. The latest information about the Axe the Tax is that they are on track to put that on the ballot probably next year. So that's just something to keep in mind. And it does look, they are talking about how they might have the signatures available to put that on the ballot. I guess we'll find out next year. The other thing too is HB 96, which is our cybersecurity training. I think we need to make sure that we have implemented and taken that and done all the things for that. So if we can just check on that and report back. And let's see. Those are the highlights. There you go.
Any questions from Mrs. Harkemaier? Okay, board member comments. Trustee McAbey?
No, thank you.
Trustee Harkemaier?
So something that I think we need to start to think about, and I did make some inquiries about this, we have sadly, very sadly, had 2 suicides over in Rentschler Park this summer, and I think we need to try to do some things with that. I don't know how effective or how meaningful this is, but clearly we don't want people to be committing suicide, and especially not in our parks. So I have reached out to, there's a couple of different organizations that can possibly get some 988 signs that we can put up in the park. I've talked to staff about that. We brought Metro Parks into the loop on that. And I believe the coroner's office they had some meetings today. I think Metro Parks was there representing that too, but just to try to, look at that suicide thing. So I think a really good place to start, I know it's not going to fix the problem, but it can't hurt. And that is putting up some of those 988 signs down at Rentschler and even in our parks as well, just so that people are saying, hey, wait a minute, there's other solutions, and we don't want to make a life-ending choice just because things are sad right now. And clearly it's not worth it. We've been touched by suicide right here in this building, and I don't want that for anyone here, and I don't want that for anyone in our community if at all possible. So if we can, again, staff, if you can continue to follow up with Metro Parks on that and with our parks as well to get some of those signs and anything else we can do too to help out with that. But there's resources available, and that's not the only solution.
Okay, thank you. I just want to publicly thank both our police department and our fire department personnel for the great conversations we've had over the past couple months to just collaborate and work on things that we need to do to make our township better. So I want to thank all the personnel that have had those conversations very much. Is there anything in the binder that we need to look at for August? Is that right?
Yep. Did we do everything for July? We did SALT. We adopted our next fiscal tax year budget. Did we renew the standard company for short-term disability? And
Yeah, we were on a 3-year contract.
Okay.
So we won't have to do it until next year, I believe.
Excellent. And then for August, does this look like what we need to do, or is there anything else? Ammunition for the police department, national gas aggregation, strategic solutions contract? Are those still valid, or?
I think,
We just paid the ammunition. Isn't that Axon?
Axon?
Axon, yeah.
No, that was, we paid, Axon is a software that deletes pictures and names and stuff.
Okay,
The ammunition, I'm not aware of. We pay for it now.
okay.
usually it's,
All right.
Anything else in August that we do on a standard timeline? Anything else, Kim, anything standard for August? Staff, anyone, anything we need to
I
remember?
think we just talked, I think Jason and I talked about if we get the trailer situation worked out or some solution, we'll bring it back to you guys in August
Okay.
for a decision.
But not a standard
Yeah.
every year
Oh,
thing.
no.
Yeah, the standard every year
That's right.
stuff.
Okay. Announcements. On Tuesday, August 11th, 2026 at 6:30, we will have the courts at Heroes Park ribbon cutting for our new tennis and pickleball courts. And then immediately following that, at 7 PM, we will have our regular trustees meeting right here in the admin building. At this time, I move to go into executive session pursuant to ORC 121.22G1 to consider the discipline, appointment, employment, or compensation of public employee or official. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or question? There may or may not be action to follow executive session. Ms. Schultz, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Birding?
Yes?
Trustee Harkemaier?
Yes.
Trustee McAbey?
Yes?
Okay, that motion passes. We adjourn into executive session. I'm sorry, we convene executive session at 8:04 PM.